guys, my name is Courtney Budzyn and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make chicken Cordon Bleu Casserole. I'm trying to practice my French a little bit. It's a whole lot easier than the traditional chicken Cordon Bleu because there's no rolling and frying and flattening out the chicken. You don't have to do any of that. The ingredients you're going to need are very simple and few, at least in my opinion. You're going to need some butter, onion, flour, chicken broth, whole milk, Dijon mustard. You're also going to need some Parmesan cheese, some breadcrumbs, and I like the coarse kind. I don't really like them all like sandy texture. You're also going to need some shredded Swiss cheese, some melted butter, and then I have some chicken here that I just cooked up in the oven, and you can use a rotisserie chicken if you want to. And then I have some honey roasted ham, and this, to me, to use honey roasted ham is just the best thing to use for this recipe. You can use regular ham, and all I did was get it from the deli, and then I just stacked it on each other and then chopped it up. And then I have some Orzo pasta here. I feel like, because traditionally you don't have any kind of pasta when it comes to Cordon Bleu, but I feel like this definitely needed something starchy in it, whether it be egg noodles, rice, or pasta. So do whatever floats your boat. So with that being said, let's go over to the stove and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make a roux. I already have my butter in there that's nice and melted, and I'm just going to add my onion in. So I'm just going to season that with a little bit of salt and pepper. You want to cook that just until they're translucent or about to be translucent. Okay, my onion is slightly translucent. Now I'm going to add the flour. Mix that in and keep stirring, and you want to cook this for about 2 minutes or until that flour taste is completely gone. Just keep mixing because you don't want it to burn to the bottom of the pan. And what we're doing is we're kind of making a mixture between a bechamel sauce and a veloute sauce. I don't know how to say it. I'm not French. But I guess if you try to be the candlestick on Beauty and the Beast, it might work. A veloute. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to add my milk and my chicken broth. Now both of these, the chicken broth and the milk, is cold. And the best thing to do when you're making a roux is adding the chicken broth and the milk cold, because what that does is stops the cooking process, and then in turn you have no clumps. So whisk this, and then you're going to allow this to get nice and thick. But before we do, I'm going to add my Dijon mustard. Give that a stir. So let this simmer until it becomes slightly thick. It's not going to be super thick, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. So that's what it ended up looking like after it's done. It only takes about 3 to 5 minutes. And you can see it's thick, but it's not super thick. It still drips, but that's what you want. You don't want it to be super thick to the point where it's going to like harden if you let it sit out for too long. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mix all of our ingredients together. This is the last final step and the easiest. So I have my orzo already in a bowl. I'm going to add my ham and my chicken. I'm just going to give this all a good stir before I add the liquid. Now I'm going to add about a cup of the cheese, the Swiss cheese, and you're going to leave some for the top, but I'm also using the Parmigiano as the top, so I'm going to mix that in. And now we're going to go ahead and pour our sauce right in and give that a good stir. Okay, now that that's all thoroughly incorporated, I have a baking sheet here. Traditionally you would use a pie pan, but I don't have that at the moment. It's in use, so you can use whatever you want. I just kind of lightly oiled it with some olive oil. And then you just kind of smear this around so it evenly coats the bottom of the pan. Okay, now we're going to do the breadcrumb topping. So what I have here are some breadcrumbs, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese, the rest of my Swiss. I'm going to give that a good stir before I add the melted butter. So add in your butter. Another good stir. This will help the breadcrumbs really get a nice brown color. And in this portion, I like to add a little bit of seasoning, so I add a little bit of Italian seasoning and some cayenne pepper because my husband is crazy about it. And you're also going to add a little bit more salt and some pepper. All right, now you take your hands and you just sprinkle it evenly over the top. So this is completely done that quick. What we're going to do is throw this in a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes, 20 to 30, just until the top is nicely golden brown, because all your meat's already cooked, so you don't have to worry about your meat not being done or it's too well done. So 20 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Just took our casserole out of the oven. It was in there for exactly 20 minutes, and at the last couple minutes, I just put the broiler on just to get a really nice crispy top, and you can see how, listen to that. Oh yeah, the crispiness is just unreal. And then I just threw some freshly chopped basil on top, just because, number one, I like something, you know, kind of light and refreshing to go along with this. And number two, my basil plant's kind of like growing out of control, so I gotta use it up. I would definitely pair this with a really nice salad, because it is a little bit on the more of a heavier side. Kind of like how a fettuccine alfredo, you definitely need a salad with it. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Out of this world. Delicious. So if you want to make this recipe, just look below in the description box and I'll have all the measurements as well as the written instructions. If you do remake this, please make sure you tag me on Instagram, because I would love to see your recreations. Also, please don't forget to subscribe. It is free. All you have to do is make a YouTube account and hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss any of my episodes and you have good din forever. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. You laughing at me? Well, if you can still see steam coming from it, then it's way too hot. So if you want to make this, what? Can't talk today. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. See you later. See you later. No, I'm going to try that again. And as... Don't make me laugh.